Good afternoon, race fans. And for the first time ever, Ninth Gear Broadcasting is at a road course, Kevin. We're at Road America. How are we doing tonight?
Man, I'm excited, but I'm also pretty nervous out here. I don't know much about these road courses. And for that reason, we've brought on a special guest tonight. It's going to be our road course expert of the night, Cameron Stroop. How we doing, brother?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good, man.
Hey, it's going to be an exciting one out here. At Road America, we got a field of about 21 drivers out here. And I think it's going to be a lot different from what we're used to seeing, Luke.
Absolutely, Kevin. I know we're used to seeing the oval, a lot of left-hand turns, and in this race in particular, I think we only got about three or four of them. Not
Yeah,
many.
not too many. A lot more right turns than we're used to out here, Luke.
Yeah, either way, we got a decently long grid out here, so I guess you can go and take that away. Do they do a whole lap around for the pacing? Like how does that work here? They do a full pace lap?
They're usually going to start back towards turn 11,
Back towards turn
and then
11.
so they don't have to do the full pace. They'll start at turn 11 and they'll get rolling there.
So they pace about half. Okay.
Yeah, they pace about a half a lap and then green.
Gotcha.
As you can see, I'm going there.
Perfect. And I'm going to get started with the grid because I don't know how long that's going to take. But how about on your poll tonight? Getting it done at Road America. In the qualifying is going to be Joe Nathan and Chris Hudson, a former road course winner with CMS, on his outside. Second row is going to be Tim Collier and Ninth Gear's own Tyler Vickery. Your third row is going to be Drew Lidke and Davis Braun. Fourth row is going to be Jeff Schmeier and Stelian Tarlev. Fifth row is going to be Pierre Robitaille and Brian Shabelski. Sixth row is going to be Michael Carroll and David Anderson. Seventh row is going to be AJ Benish and Dennis, the janitor Pitzenbarger. Next is going to be Anthony James and Jose Medina. Brian Faulkner and Noah Loveridge of Loveridge Motorsports. Tommy Mitchell and Connor Patton. And rounding out the field is going to be Jay Darger. A 21-car field out here for Road America.
And the pace car is in, Kevin, and I'm hearing that weird-ass beeping that I heard while they were pacing, and I didn't understand what it meant, but to my knowledge, we're green out here right now, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. We're racing, and that's a cool spot for the flagman up there.
Oh, that is
above the drivers,
sweet.
As opposed to in the grandstands. But we're racing out here, 30 laps with CMS in the trucks at Road America. Here we go.
And it's Joe Nathan right now with the lead, Chris Hudson behind him, and Ninth Gear Zone Tyler Vickery in that top three, and the lead commissioner Tim Collier in fourth place.
Yeah, and just looking at some of the race information, it's 100% fuel on the night. It's going to be a one pit stop type of night. For fuel, we got one green, white checkered and one fast repair. We don't have full course cautions, so we have local cautions. Stroop, you want to talk us through how those are going to go?
Yeah, so with the local cautions, so let's say you're quarter lap ahead and that quarter lap behind you, someone spins. As long as it's not a danger to other drivers on the track, in just that little section of the track, they'll throw a yellow like, hey, you're free to drive, just do not overtake any other trucks, any other cars, whatever. And as soon as you pass the danger, as soon as you pass, you'll be good to go. Back to green flag racing.
I got you. So, with the local cautions, we're going to see a lot of racing out here. Not a lot of breaks for us is what it's sounding like.
Yes, sir.
Joe Nathan's still in the lead out here. He's going through the turns right now as they're going across the kink into turn 11.
Oh, Tim Collier getting a little squirrely, I think.
Yeah, and there's a big change in pace from P3 to P4. It's going to be about 3 seconds between them already. As we see some of the guys as far as 22 seconds off pace towards the back already, Luke. You think I'm gonna ask for a prediction from both of you guys. How many cars do you think we see finish this race on the lead lap out here tonight in a 22-car field?
I mean, honestly, it's tough for me to say, Kevin. I'm not, I'm not the most knowledgeable about it. I'd like to hear Cameron's first.
It depends. So it depends how many people spin, they get damaged on the truck, and how many have to use that tow, because obviously that tow is going to take some time to get back to the pits, fix the truck. But with just normal racing, I'd say probably at least the top 15 would be on your lead lap.
Okay. And I was gonna ask about that too. Usually we see the tows take anywhere from like a minute to 4 minutes in these oval races, depending on where they are. Does that differ greatly on the road courses? With it,
Yeah,
being...
yeah. As you like from the wherever you're at on the track depends how long it's going to take you to get to the pits. Like obviously, right?
Yeah. So some different things out here, but at the end of the day, it's still iRacing, and Joe Nathan really has it figured out here. As he's about 1.3 seconds up on Chris Hudson, Tyler Vickery holding on to third, then a big gap between 3 and 4.
A couple of guys getting in that grass back there, it looks like.
Yeah, and how about the gap between I think that's going to be the 45 car Faulkner and the 24 car Medina. They've gotten 7 seconds between them right now. That's going to be 17 and 18th place. Going through the turns.
Yeah, and they're
around the carousel they go. We're 2 laps into this one.
I mean, knowing this race line out here on this track, Kevin, to my knowledge, is very, very crucial out here. I mean, we already seen a couple of the guys getting a little loose going out of the turns and into these turns, so you got to imagine as we get to the later stages in this race, when the tire wear does become a factor, it's going to definitely be a little worrisome for some of these guys. And right now I'm reading that Robitaille just spun out a little bit, and we're seeing some smoke from him.
Oh, and he's got some serious problems as he is smoked up all the way through, and
he's right up near 11B. We'll have to go back and maybe take a look there at what happened there. Oh, comes in a little hot and smacks the wall there. Oof. I want to see if you're a Pierre Robitaille fan, and he's probably going to be making his way into the pits, I would assume. Lead is still the same. Joe Nathan, Chris Hudson, and Tyler Vickery in your top 3. Still holding strong.
Yeah, and another question I've got is, how does, the differences between off courses and cut and corners go? Because I know in the practice race we saw a lot of off courses for people to gain time, and they were getting incident points from it, but they were using that to their advantage. Now we know cut and corners gives you some sort of penalty, so where's the line drawn on that one, Stroop?
So your off courses is when you're going on the outside.
Yep.
So kind of like Vickery here, if he would have went just a little bit more, he'd have got it off course. Your cutting corners is when you would go straight through the corner instead of hitting the apex and actually driving it around.
I got you. And is there any limit to how far they can go off course on that outside?
As long as they can keep 2 wheels on the pavement, they'll be good.
Okay. We're 10th through this race already, and Joe Nathan seems to be putting the laps down as he's slowly but surely gaining time on the 43 car of Chris Hudson. Your top 5 right now reads Nathan, Hudson, Vickery, Lidke, and Braun. A lot of racing left, though, and a pit cycle left.
Yeah, what's going to win this race is them figuring out their braking points, their turning in points, and where they need to get back onto the throttle. That's what's going to win this race.
Absolutely. And you got to wonder, I mean, just 3 laps in, as far as this field is spread apart, is lap traffic going to be an issue later on in this one?
Absolutely. If Joe Nathan keeps up this pace, he will be within the lap traffic within 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, and I believe his closest vehicle is going to be Pierre Robitaille. He just went through turn 1 right now, approaching turn 2. We saw that. Had a little bit of an incident there with the wall around, I want to say 11A. He causes his engine to smoke a little bit, so I imagine he went in, and that's why he's so far off pace. But Joe Nathan is still making way, and he's catching him fast if you look up there on the map.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, I mean, these guys are through and through oval racers, and they're in a truck league, so you got to wonder, is the experience going to be there for them to let the leaders pass, or is it going to be troubling to get through the lap traffic if you're Joe Nathan?
Well, it honestly depends on the driver that's about to get lapped, right? So
yeah,
Joe Nathan might know what he needs to do, but the car that's about to get lapped will not. So might not know, might know. So We'll see when he goes to lapping. We'll know for sure.
Absolutely. And Luke, real quick, do you want to take a look at last lap times and see how these guys are tracking? Only 4 laps in here. Looks like 2:15, low 2:15s is where the best laps are going to be put up. All the way, I mean, back to 30 or 15 seconds off pace. So a huge variety. But right now, Joe Nathan, without any uncertainties, has the best lap time out here. With I think Chris Hudson having the second best one out here.
A little bit of a perspective here on how far back the leader is from the lap traffic right now. He's not too far off there. You saw he's gaining some time, but he's still got a lot of racing left out here.
Yes, sir.
Joe Nathan's still leading this one through the turns. Coming to the front stretch out here. He's catching on Pierre Robitaille. The 67 car is going into turn 1 right now.
Yeah, like I said, he'll be up there with this 67 car here in the next couple laps. So, okay. 57, Jay Daggett, he's yellow. Does that mean anything there? Oh, is that just his driver plate number, color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going through the turns right now. They're catching Robitaille quick out here, and some other cars that seem to be fading off pretty good are the likes of Noah Loveridge, the 68 car Mitchell. They're both over a minute off pace at this point, 5 laps in. You know, I might be wrong on this, but I don't think the practice race...
Oh! 56 of Tarlev getting a little loose there.
That's going to give Tim Collier the opportunity for the pass, and it's going to be a clean one.
Oh, but he's not done yet. Tarlev's looking at the inside. Collier's got it, though. Good pass by Tim Collier there. Seizing the opportunity there.
Absolutely. You know, Nathan's putting up these great laps, but he's not really losing Chris Hudson. Chris Hudson's keeping it within a couple seconds. He's been around that high 1 point area as far as how far back he is, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's got a good rhythm going. Tyler Vickery as well. I mean, he's fallen off a little bit more, but, you know, 5 laps in, it looks like Joe Nathan's running away with this thing, but he really isn't. Not quite yet, at least.
Seems like the big battle spot right now is still around Tim Collier, you know, Tarlev and Schmeier right now, it seems. That's around, I want to say, what, battle for 6th?
Yes. Yeah.
Coming up in here into this right-hander, that's a pretty decent overtake opportunity if they can brake later. Kind of like we just saw right there.
I got you. A little bit more room as opposed to some of these other turns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like Chris Hudson's made up a few tenths of a second in the past lap or so on Joe Nathan.
You know, I gotta ask out here, how long we think it's gonna take for these guys to start really feeling the tire wear? Because how many sets do we have?
I just imagine what's going to be used as one extra because we're only going to see one pit out here.
I gotcha.
But not sure on the tire wear, Stroop.
Probably most likely about mid-race, so about 10, 15 laps. They'll start to feel their tires falling off, getting a little harder to brake, a little harder to turn. So I'd say like
gotcha.
about lap 10 or 15. So here in the next 5 or 10 laps.
Yeah, and
Alright.
CMS seems to be a league of strategy out here. Is there really any strategy between like coming in when they come in taking 1 or 2 tires as opposed to 4, or is it pretty straightforward? And you think they're gonna take the
You're
same thing out here?
you're going to want to take 4 tires. With this being a road course, you're not just putting stress on your rights like you would on an oval. You're putting stress on your lefts as well. So you're going to want to take 4 tires. So I would be surprised if any of them decide to take just 2.
I got you. Out here we see only 4 cars within that, 10-second threshold right now. Joe Nathan putting up a really good pace, and Chris Hudson following it. Tyler Vickery not falling off too far. And Drew Lidke, in his view, as they go across this front stretch now. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I not to jinx it or anything, but I expected to see more incidents involved, like single car incidents, more self spins than we've seen so far. We've seen the one with Pierre, but overall, these guys have kept it super clean.
Yeah, it seems like they've gotten their practice laps in, that's for sure.
That's what I was about to say. These guys have probably been working their tails off all week for this race, for this track. So
We're gonna see if we can get our driver cam thing working here. Bear with us 1 second.
It says I added him to scene 1.
Give me 1 second, just getting the link pasted over. And there he is.
There it is. Let's go on board with Tyler Vickery here for a little bit. He's currently running 3rd right now. Not too far back off the lead. A short 8 seconds.
Just gonna do a little bit of recropping.
Yeah, and we're trying out a new UI tonight, so
Bear with us.
bear with us a little bit. If you want to, though, click on Tyler's cockpit views, see how it looks from the inside of one of these cars, or trucks, sorry. There he is.
Oh, wait a minute. The chat is working. I see the chat. What's going on, Lisa? Hell yeah.
And Lisa popping in the chat while we're watching Tyler, currently running 3rd out here. 23 to go. We're a short 7 laps into this race, Luke. And, I've really enjoyed myself so far. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I have.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, Kevin. It's definitely a change of pace, but I think it's pretty interesting.
No doubt, and that was Tyler Vickery showing us how it's done. I'm sure, and he is.
Oh, he's being overtaken by Drew Lidke right now on the outside. It's like he has the transfer.
Let's go back and take a look at another in-car real quick and see, how that's looking. Just head back to 1 second.
We're gonna have to go back. We're reading an incident.
Oh.
The Loveridge
Noah
guys.
Loveridge.
The Loveridge guys. Ooh, a little bit of a tire lockup situation. Oh, I think it's on the throttle a little early, I think. It's a little bit
Yeah,
of
I think he
spin.
put it in the gravel there, and that kind of just forced him to lose control of it. Stroop, you have any insight on that one?
just looked like a simple tire lockup. Oh.
Pierre Robitaille with a...
Is that old?
I think that was old. I think, yeah, it's the old situation. I was about to say. That looked old.
Okay.
I was about to say. There's no way he did the same thing again.
It looked eerily similar.
Yeah.
Tyler Vickery has now fallen back.
seeing 2 drivers in the pits right now, Connor Patton and AJ Binish.
Yeah, that situation with Noah, it just looked like it was just a simple tire lockup.
And Tyler Vickery, can we look at him real quick? I apologize for cutting you off there, Stroop, but he's now 50 seconds off pace, and he was just 8 seconds.
And Higgins, if it was that easy, I would do it, buddy. But believe it or not, it isn't that easy. It's all very different than what we're used to, using a completely different stream overlay UI. So still getting used to it, if you can believe it. As it stands, though, Joe Nathan's still in the lead, and he's really starting to catch the number 67 of Pierre Robitaille.
Luke's a little sassy tonight, Mike.
Yeah, damn right I am.
I think the beverages are getting to his head.
They're not!
But yeah, Luke, I know you kind of just ignored me, but did we ever get a read on what happened to Tyler Vickery?
No, I was just looking back there. From what I'm reading right now, it looks like he came up off the track. I'll go back and see if we can maybe get an incident on that. And oh, yep, definitely came up off the track there at some point. Let's see what happened there. Maybe get the cockpit.
Running behind Drew Lidke here. Into the turn. And just overdrives it, I think.
Yeah, it just looks like it was
no.
he just overdrove, and then he dipped his tires into that grass there, and that's the end of the day. Oh, something failed on the so.
Unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Getting a read from him, something failed on the wheel, so definitely not what you want to see.
And Joe Nathan's really, really close to that lap car. I think lap traffic is going to start to become an issue here soon, guys.
Yeah, and you know, we were kind of talking about that. It kind of seemed like either the lap car's pace sped up or the leader's pace slowed down, because I thought we would have seen him catch Pierre by now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but Pierre's
I
looking
will say though,
oh, he's caught up to Tommy.
we have some new drivers reading out, including Connor Patton, AJ Binish, Tyler Vickery. I don't know if that's gonna cycle down to the other guys. I think there's a couple more. But Pierre's made his way around Mitchell. Mitchell now fighting to stay on the lead lap in the 68 car. As it stands though, Joe Nathan's just putting up the laps and getting it done out here. I think the closest battle right now would be between Stelian Tarlev and Jeff Schmeier, which is still about a second off. So these guys are just holding to their pace and trying to keep it in between the ditches out here.
Yeah, and definitely a very, very spread out track.
Excuse me.
We now have 11 cars within that, minute pace of Joe Nathan, with James, the last one in, Pittsburgh, the last one out at a minute 17. And with this being, local cautions with only one pit, a lot of these guys are just fighting for any positions they can make up. The win point is probably out of their reach. But, this is a long season, a points season, so staying out there and getting what you can done is definitely beneficial to a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, and we're currently watching the overhead of the number 45 in P16, Brian Fackler. The leader, Joe Nathan's catching up to him on his bumper.
Yeah, Nathan made it around the 68 car of Mitchell, so the 45 is the next to go.
Joe Nathan looking to overtake the lap car. He's looking at the outside here. He's going to have it going through the turn 1.
Yeah, and Stroop, I gotta ask you, I assume the answer is yes, but was that, a textbook pass from, Fackler and Joe Nathan getting it done, making it pretty seamless?
Oh yeah, you lap car, get off the racing line, slow down a little bit, and let the leaders pass. That's the way to do it.
And I gotta ask, I don't know much about it, but is there a chance we see blue flags out tonight?
Absolutely. All your cars that are about to get lapped, they're going to have a blue flag. Slows.
You guys will have to fill me in there. It's a blue flag, fellas.
It's a blue. So the blue flag means that you're about to get overtook.
Oh, okay.
So it's letting you know, hey, leaders are coming up on you.
Gotcha.
Get out of the way. Yeah.
Chris Hudson, in the past about 5 laps, has fallen back another second on the pace, but nothing significant still. Drew Lidke's picked up a position on Tyler Vicker in spot as it currently stands, sitting about 12.5 to 13 seconds back.
Tarlev getting the pass on Zbelski there.
Yes, sir. That's a pretty good pass.
Going through the carousel exit. Approaching the kink, and I gotta ask, Stroop, you got any kinks?
I got a couple, and I don't think I don't think the viewers would want to hear it.
Fair enough. And we're reading that Jose Medina crashed. Go back and watch that one. And he gets loose going into turn 1, it seems.
Yeah. Is simple pickup, simple go. He got it going, and he was all right. Kevin said he'll be right back.
All good. Stroop, I don't know too much about these road course races. I'm still learning a lot about it. I know a little bit about this track. I've ran it a few times myself on some other games, but I'm not too knowledgeable in terms of the tire wear situation and just how quick they wear. I know they definitely go a considerable amount slower than the oval races out here, so I'm assuming we're probably going to be approaching that zone where like you said, they're going to start feeling that tire wear here in like the next, 4 laps, you said?
Yes, absolutely. They'll start feeling their tires going off here in the next 3 or 4 laps.
Gotcha.
If they're not feeling it already.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine they got to be starting to, especially if they've been running a tight race line. And that's right, Jay, definitely a Ken Block style race out here. Not something we're used to with 9th gear, but we got an expert here, Cameron Stroop, helping us out tonight. But as it stands, Joe Nathan's still leading out here, and he's been quite dominant all race. He's finally starting to approach the bumper of the number 67 Pierre Robitaille. He's going to go a lap down.
Yes, sir. Well, welcome back, Kevin.
Yeah, my computer's not treating me very well right now, trying to get everything sorted out.
Yeah, and I was wondering if that was a me lag or a you lag, but for once I don't think it was me.
And whatever that was about louder than hell.
Yep, that would be me swatting a gnat flying in front of my screen.
Best broadcast.
I'm reading Anthony James crashed, but he's still driving. Oh, and you can see his back tire just clipping the grass line there, I think, and gets loose going into that turn 1. That seems to be a problem turn for a lot of these drivers out here this afternoon.
Yeah, that was just self-spin. There's nothing really that needs to be interfered with just a self spin. Possibly just throw up one of those local cautions until he gets back on the race line, back up to speed. Then he'll be back green.
Joe Nathan looking to try to maneuver around the lap car. The number 67 of Pierre Robitaille, and now he's going to fall a lap down. That was about louder than hell.
Heard that too. If you look at the difference, it's a 10-second difference between your cars in second and third. So.
Oh, geez, yeah. A lot of separation there.
Absolutely.
Joe Nathan and Chris Hudson starting to run away with this thing right now. Still a considerable amount of racing left to go out here.
Absolutely. 18 to go. Anything can happen. So. This is some good racing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not used to the oval racing, but I'm definitely surprised on how entertaining this actually is. There's a lot of passing here. I expected it to be completely caution-filled and a lot more pacing, but I was expecting something completely different.
If you look, you can see your first truck coming in for their pit.
Oh, yep, that's going to be Jeff Schmeier. He's on his way in.
I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see more trucks following suit here soon.
And we'll just be watching the tower there to get read on it and checking out our map track up there on the top right. We've seen the first one in. It's going to be interesting to see who takes next.
A little wide moment there for Joe Nathan. He's alright though. He saved it. Well, there goes Kevin again.
Oh, yeah, and he's been having some issues all night, it seems.
Yes, sir. It looks like it's just me and you here, Luke.
Yeah, at least I got the knowledgeable one here about road courses, so we'll be able to maybe piece something together out here between the two of us while Kevin tries to figure his stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
But, that gap is still, it's actually growing between second and third place now. Hudson's starting to gain a little bit of time on Joe Nathan, but Drew Lidke, he's pushing past 15 seconds back on second place.
Oh, yeah, we see your truck in P4. He's also coming in for his first pit of the race. So
yeah,
number 25.
There's another one.
Braun.
That's Braun. Tarlev going in. They seem to be the only ones as of right now.
Yes, sir. Your leaders will be probably coming in for a pit here as well soon, so I'd be looking out for that.
And Kevin is trying to ask me questions about troubleshooting his computer at the moment, and it is a little concerning, but we're hoping to see him back here soon regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Tarlev on his way out of the pits. Everyone's back out on the track as we speak.
That was a clean overtake there
Yeah.
from Joe Nathan.
These guys are pretty clean with their passes and stuff, even in the Oval Series races there. The CMS series is definitely not a very, very caution-filled series from what we are used to, so...
These guys are experienced truck drivers. They're, you know what they're doing, and it's good to see.
Oh, yeah.
We have another driver in the pits here, Pitsenbarger, I believe, Dennis.
Yep, we're seeing the leaders heading in now, too. We're seeing Joe Nathan and Chris Hudson heading in. Pitsenbarger's in as well.
I'll be surprised if Jude Litka and...
Yep, there goes Drew. Drew heading in. Oh, we're reading Fackler with a crash. He seems to have gotten into a wall there.
Let's see here.
Oh. It seems like that same wall, right, or the same turn that I believe Robitaille got into.
Yeah, that is the same. It's honestly very eerily similar to how the two of them wrecked. It was quite the same, honestly.
Going in with a little too much speed and maybe a little too heavy on the exit, maybe on the throttle.
Absolutely, that's what it was. You're coming in fast. He was most likely in for his in lap, so he can go to his pit and coming in fast and turning in a little quick and on your throttle quick. That's easy spin.
Yeah, but I'm hearing all kinds of beeping and it's still confusing me, but Anderson and James both going into the pits. So is Fackler.
Yeah, halfway through the race. How we doing, fellas?
There he is, Kevin, on the phone, I see.
I think
halfway through the race, everyone's coming in for their pits.
I think after years of neglecting my computer, it's finally catching up to me, fellas.
Just maybe, Kevin, just maybe.
Do I sound bad enough that I should just keep trying on the computer?
Definitely keep trying, but it'll do for now.
All right. I won't talk as much.
Gotcha.
See, even after the pits, we got Joe Nathan still out front. But look at your third place. Look who's in third.
Oh, ninth gear zone Michael Carroll. He's making up time.
I am unsure if he has come in for his pit yet.
I'll take a look here. We can pull it up. No, he has not.
Okay, so he's probably coming in for his pit right here. Then Jude Litka will be able to get that third back. But like I said at the start of the race, gentlemen, they would start feeling their tires fall off about mid-race. Here it is mid-race, and all of them have majority of the pack has come in because they've started feeling them tires fall off.
Yeah, I see Michael Carroll heads in now.
Yeah, Michael Carroll going in now.
Yes.
Well, fellas, it looks like we got about 15 cars out here on the lead lap. And that was the prediction by Stroop, and we're only halfway through this race. You wanna re-predict, or you staying strong to that guess?
Let's um let's go top 10.
Okay.
Yes, sir, top 10. Because with these new tires, Joe Nathan, he's just going to be flying, so he'll catch up to these lap traffic.
That gap between second and third seems to have grown. 15 seconds back now.
Yes, sir. Them boys are out there just flying.
Yeah, those leaders have definitely been practicing their lines. Like we said, they're really moving.
Yeah, they have found their pace and they're not letting it go.
Cannot imagine so.
Was there an incident with Tyler Vickery? He was just stationary on the track map there for a little bit.
Shows he went off the track a little bit ago. Maybe we can go back and take a look. Seems he was kind of following a very similar line to the 67 of Robitaille and spins out a little bit in the grass.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we haven't seen the first place fighting that we might have hoped for so far. Is there any doubt in your guys' mind that do you guys think anybody can catch Joe Nathan by any miracle tonight?
I don't believe so.
I'm gonna have
He's
to
5
agree.
seconds clear. He's 5 seconds clear with 13 to go. Unless something tragic happens, he spins. He's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, and a lot of guys fighting for position here. Let's take a look between Ryan Shabelsky and Tim Collier. I see they're in a heated battle right now. Or at least were briefly. Good to at least see some cars out here next to each.
What'd you say, Kevin?
I do not know.
It seems like seems like a computer cut out once more.
This thing's a piece of fucking shit. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, right now we can. Yes.
Well, after this broadcast, I think Kevin's going to be running a malware test because something very ungood is going on.
I would say something, but we're on the air, so I'll tell you afterwards.
Shabelsky getting a little bit of room on Collier now, about 6/10 of a second. I'm sure they're not done fighting each other, but at the same time, I'm sure it's going to be all in competitive fun because.
Oh, and Tim
their
Collier's
teammates
spinning
in
a little
Canada.
bit. He's loose.
Yeah, and he's gonna lose a lot of speed from that. Oh, we read Michael Carroll pitting?
Yep, Michael Carroll making his way in. Not too sure what the reasoning is for that, but he's already made his way in tonight.
Looks like he has some damage on the front of that truck.
Yeah, and go back and see if something happened to him. Just track back through maybe his past lap or so.
Oh, yep.
Oh, there she is.
See that back end sliding a little bit and just gives way with the throttle. And, oh.
Trying to save it and get back in the gas probably didn't help him there, but able to safely make it into the pits, and he's going to come back out still in the top 10.
Though. Still in 10th place, yeah.
And that would have been one of the moments where you would have saw the local caution. So.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Seems like, this has almost come down to a 2-car race, even though Joe Nathan has 3.5 seconds. Comparatively, that's a pretty tight battle. The next car's going to be 22 back.
Yeah, well, Chris Hudson did cut that, it was 5 seconds down in 2 laps, so.
So cutting down the lead that Joe Nathan had, little by little out here. Plenty of racing left. 11 laps usually what we see isn't much, but out here it's a lot of racing.
Yes, sir.
94 car of Pitzenbarger now letting Joe Nathan around. Well, guys, are any of you familiar with optional good game?
Can I say I am,
Because
Kevin?
after a virus scan, it's been confirmed that Kevin has one.
Optional good game.
Optional good game is the file that's being quarantined right now.
Interesting. I'm reading that Jay Darger had a bit of a crash. We'll look back and see it, and another little bit of a spin there.
There it is.
A lot of spins out here, and what a surprise. It's right around where Cameron Street was saying we're going to start to really feel these the tire pressure, Kevin.
Yeah, and everything on my computer is looking and running faster ever since I quarantined that, so I think we're back in business. Oh, and
Yeah,
Joe Nathan off the track.
Oh boy, that's your leader.
And Pitzenbarger's going to take his lead lap position right back. And that's going to slow him down a lot. And here's Chris Hudson right on his tail.
And Chris Hudson saw his opportunity right there, and he's going to seize it, and he's going to make a move. He's looking for the pass.
They're both stuck behind Dennis Pitzenbarger, though, and he's going to let him by. Chris Hudson is right there on the tail of Joe Nathan now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a late break move here and coming into turn 1.
Yeah, and I'd love to see that. Hopefully,
and the
Pitzenbarger
janitor's
can stay out of the
getting
way. And stay out of the way he does.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
off the track.
I don't know how good that is if you're a fan of the 94, but hey, he did what he had to do to stay out of the way of the leaders, and
He's still behind him, though. He's still driving.
and it's now down to 12 cars on that lead lap. Joe Nathan and Hudson now in a fight for the lead. Now I gotta ask you, Stroop, it's all in it's all in the name of racing and oval, but how do these drivers fare to a little bit of a bump and run in some of these turns?
You don't really want to do a bump and run here in on these road courses.
All right, I
Because
got you.
they spin really easily.
Okay. Now they're stuck behind a little bit more lap traffic. That's going to be Jay Darger. Trying not to go down a lap here. And if and when he does, trying to make it as seamless as possible for these lead guys. Hudson's gaining some time because of it, though.
Oh!
Jay
He's in front of him.
Jay
Jay's
Darger
spinning.
goes down.
Oh!
It's a tight race between
and
Joe
Hudson.
Nathan. Oh, here he goes.
He's looking for the pass. They're side by side. A huge run for Chris Hudson.
Side by side, they're on each other's doors. Going through the turns.
Joe Nathan's gonna get the benefit of that one as well as this next one, but here comes Hudson as they hook a left. Nathan clear once again, but hey, it's good to see Hudson has the pace to keep up and make a move when need be. See if he'll be able to stay on the sights for 10 more laps, though, so we can see a late race battle like such.
And they're still locked pretty close together there for the lead. With just 9 laps to go out here, one mistake can cost either of them their shot for the win out here tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the next car they're going to catch is going to be Anthony James, but he seems to not be too close to him, so I don't think lap traffic's going to be a big issue for them for quite a while. As you can see, he's about 2 turns ahead.
Oh. Excuse me. This is just some really good racing from the top 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely cool to see that they're this close to each other still, with the 3rd place car being 23 seconds back.
Absolutely.
Joe Nathan may be getting some distance once again. He's opened it up another few tenths of a second in the past lap or 2. Chris Hudson not really going anywhere, though. Then I think your next closest battle is going to be between Shabelski and Jeff Schmeier now. Shabelski is stuck, sandwiched between 2 cars, both within a second of him, so he's looking to make some moves and get into a top 5 spot.
Absolutely.
Luke, you want to take a look at the onboard of Brian Shabelski? Hunting down Stelly and Tarlev best as he can, but gotta be careful because Jeff Schmeier is only half a second back on him. 8 laps to go out here. Joe Nathan's still leading, but Chris Hudson started to close it a little bit once again.
Oh,
We'll get a little loose in
And-
front of them.
yeah.
Who was that just wrecked there?
I believe
45?
that was...
I think that was Brian Fackler going
Yep.
on 2 laps down, so not really in the mix, but still in the race, and not what you want to see if you're a fan of Brian Fackler. Definitely a near miss, though, for Shabelski.
And it's still
As
your
he's-
front 2 runners still in a locked battle.
Absolutely, absolutely. little loss of control there, but nothing too, nothing he couldn't handle.
Yeah, they seem to be fighting these cars here as we're approaching the last handful of laps out here. Starting to battle these tires and seeing what works.
Yeah, I gotta ask you, Stroop. You know a lot about these road courses, so if we were to come back to a road course next year, we've seen Road America, we've seen Coda, and we've seen the Glen. Would you want to see one of those again, or would you want to see something new? If so, what course do you think would fit well with these trucks?
I'd like to see Coda.
Coda.
Oh yeah, Coda. These trucks would run great at Coda. It would be really cool to see.
Yeah, and these guys out here are running the Coda setup because there was no Road America setup, so going back to a track that has a specified setup would also be refreshing for a lot of these drivers, I'd assume.
Oh yeah.
Going back and looking, give me 1 second. I'm pulling up some results from Coda. Now this was last year, season 2. They ran at Coda, and the results were Davis Braun getting the pole, but Miguel Colon getting the win out here. Chris Hudson, runner-up in that race, though, guys. Is he going to repeat history, or is he going to pick up a position and bring home the checkered flag out here?
I mean, it's still either one of their races out here, honestly. It's tough to say.
It's neck and neck right now, so this race is going to be decided here. Who has better braking points, has better turn points, has better getting back on the throttle. So we will see.
Yeah, and looking back a little bit more in history, the other road course they've gone to was also last year. Chris Hudson won at Watkins Glen by only 0.4 seconds. So he's familiar with the old close racing thing out here. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're closing in slowly on Anthony James, Michael Carroll, and Anderson, but I don't know if they'll be able to catch them in 6 laps. It looks like they're about 14 seconds off right now. So if they pick up a little bit more than half a second on them each lap, they're going to be dealing with some more lap traffic right at the end here. And that could be a little dangerous.
Yes, sir. I don't see them catching those lap traffic. It's possible. It's quite possible. Anything's possible in racing. We all know that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and I gotta ask: is there any level of sandbagging or any level of not giving it your all out here with 6 to go, or you think these guys are pushing their trucks to the limit right now?
These top 2, they're pushing as hard as they can.
Okay.
They want to get this win, so they're pushing hard. I'd say the same thing probably about Drew Litka. He's probably pushing hard as well.
Trying to stay away from Davis Braun and maintain a podium spot out here.
Absolutely.
And looking back at those two, got quite the gap between the two of them, but both just trying to hang on. Drew Licky hoping to hang on to third, and Joe Nathan hoping to hang on to his lead.
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I think it's going to end in this order.
Ending in this order?
What, right now?
Ending in this order, it's going to end just like this.
All right.
Ooh. Joe Nathan almost slid through that whole turn, it looked like. But I would agree with the prediction, but we've seen some crazy things out here with CMS, and in my opinion, the most mistakes are made when these guys are pushing these cars as hard as they can. So, I personally think we're going to see at least one incident within the top 5 cars, whether that be the top 2 or a little further back. I think one of these guys is going to try to play a little defense or, go a little faster than they've been going. Ooh, we saw some counter steering there from Chris Hudson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Laps are starting to dwindle down. The cars are all spread out, and the leader's still trying to hang on to what they got left out here. Joe Nathan's been looking promising all night, but Chris Hudson's been running off his bumper not too far off the entire race, so we imagine he's probably trying to make his run here before too long.
Yeah, now we got a good battle going on between Michael Carroll and Anthony James for that top 10 position with 5 laps to go. I'm sure either of those guys is going to give it all they've got to get into a top 5 here at Road America.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Both of them pushing it to the limits. We got less than 20 miles out here left, fellas, and looking like we're in for a good race. The 2 front runners are, just extending that lead very impressively on Drew Lidke and company. But the question is going to be which one of them can take it all the way and get the checkered flag out here. A win at Road America would be astronomically helpful to the point standings for either of these guys.
Absolutely.
Just looking at the standings out here, now that I mention it, Chris Hudson leads, and Joe Nathan is in 5th in straight point standings. So both of them, really giving it their all to win that Winston-style battle. This is going to be a promising day for Drew Lidke if all goes the way it has, as he's currently in 24th in point standings after only starting 2 of the 4 races so far. This one will definitely help him out.
Get a bit of a bounce back for him, yeah.
Saw a truck on the side of the road there.
Yeah, I
They're sitting
think that
still.
was Mitchell going. Let me see. I
Yep,
thought it
I'm
was
reading
Mitchell just
Yep, it was Mitchell.
coming to a stop to let them by.
Okay.
It's reading Mitchell went off the track. Not too sure why or what led up to it, but
Yeah, what type of lap times have these guys been putting up?
we'll look at their last lap times, and then we'll look at their best here in a minute.
These are their last.
Yep, these are last.
Yeah, very tight between the 2 front runners.
Here's best.
Okay. And yeah, with it being about 2:15 currently, let's go back to the gap real quick. I'm pretty sure, yeah, James is down to 11, so they're about 4 seconds off of him in gaining. I don't know if that will come into play, but if it will, that'll be very close. Just looking at your track map up there, one's going into the turn, one's coming out. Decent bit off of each other, but something to pay attention to as there's still 3 laps to go out here. Oh, and Chris Hudson lost a good deal of time there, but gained it right back on entrance of that corner and more. He's on a good little run here, closing it into 0.7 of a second behind.
Looks like they're coming up on that lap traffic now, so.
Oh, Nathan slides out a little bit, and Hudson's on his tail now.
Always looking on the inside. They're going through the turns. They're going to be approaching the carousel here. Chris Hudson's peeking at the outside. Joe Nathan's still
They're
managing
bumping
to
around
hang
a
on,
little
though.
bit. Oh, another mistake by Joe Nathan, and Chris Hudson's going to get a clear pass on it.
Yeah, and he's got some speed. That might just cost Joe Nathan the race here if Chris Hudson can hang on now.
Yeah, now it's a game of defense for Chris Hudson. Stroop, I gotta ask, how much easier is it to defend on this track than it is to attack? We've seen Joe Nathan defending Hudson all race, but now the tables have turned.
I would say it's harder to defend than it is to attack.
Okay.
So
So still feeling confident with the position Joe Nathan's in right now, only 0.3 of a second off.
yeah,
Yeah, and I might go as far as to say we've got ourselves a race now, and that's Michael Carroll off the track in front of them. He's going to have to let them pass, and he's in a tricky situation. And that's going to help Chris Hudson a decent bit, but he's going to get off the track there momentarily and let them on by. They all clear it seamlessly. And, oh, he's having some trouble hanging on to it. But able to keep it straight, and he's in 11th place now in front of Pierre Robitaille. Chris Hudson now half a second up, but they have clean air all the way until they catch up to James, which is coming soon. Take a look at your map. They're going through turn 1 right now. James, a decent bit in front of them. Not sure if that'll catch, but regardless, these leaders are fighting now.
absolutely.
Joe Nathan, another kind of botched turn right there. He loses about 0.8 of a second just on that turn.
Chris Hudson now it was almost a second and a half clear there for a little bit, but Joe Nathan closing his lead once again. I mean, now the story is, can Chris Hudson now hold on to this lead that he's put for himself?
Possibly. He's a second and a quarter clear, so possibly. We shall see.
We'll have to see
Yeah,
out here.
This almost feels like it's the game of who's going to make the mistake first. We've
That's exactly what it is.
We've seen multiple passes and multiple clears just based off the mistakes, and I gotta imagine these guys are kind of forgetting the fundamentals with doing this rear view racing that they're doing.
Yeah.
They're getting around Anthony James pretty quickly now, both of them, and now the next car to catch.
Locking up the brakes a little bit, goes off the track.
Well, there he goes. We've seen that time and time again. These guys are going off the track left and right trying to clear out for the leaders. That's going to give Joe Nathan a good run.
Unfortunate for the guys that do end up getting off the track, but good on them for staying out of the way of the leaders. That's what you love to see out here.
Yeah, I'd imagine these tires are more worn off now than they were at that 15 lap point when they pit the first time, because they have really been pushing these cars. White flag is in the air. This is it. We've waited 29 laps for this. This is the last lap. Chris Hudson leading by 0.9 of a second out here, with Joe Nathan looking to make something happen. Nathan using all of the track, including some dirt there. It's flying out behind him. He's a second off pace right now, but he's got about 3 miles to close that up.
Chris Hudson and Joe Nathan. Mono e mono out here for the win. Who's it going to be? They've got to go around one more time. Handful of turns left out here.
Chris Hudson just hanging on to it right now, just trying to hold to his fundamentals and his basics that he knows about this track. They're about halfway through. They're coming up on the carousel now.
Joe Nathan's got it down to less than a second, though, Kevin. He's closing that lead.
Yeah, for the last time of the night. They're going through each one of these turns. 8, 9. Still a decent bit of racing left. Joe Nathan, though, needs to make something happen soon. Hit the turbo if he's got it. Chris Hudson's expanded the lead a little bit here. They go through the carousel. No lap traffic they have to worry about. It's clean racing. It's air in front of them from this point. Chris Hudson with a second lead. As they go into turn 12, the Canada corner. Chris Hudson does it cleanly. Joe Nathan doesn't. He loses a lot of time there. Gets into the grass a little bit, and he's now 2 seconds back.
Digging a little hard there, it seems, to try to
last turn,
squeeze it out.
Chris Hudson just has to cleanly make it through this turn.
Can he do it?
He's through, and he just has to put his foot on the pedal, and he is a Road America winner. Chris Hudson takes one from Joe Nathan here at Road America with CMS.
And it goes to show, Kevin, just one slip up here can cost you the race, and the win goes to Chris Hudson.
Yeah, let's take a look back through. There's a battle between 5th and 6th still happening out here. They're 50 seconds back, so this race is still going on. Between Stelian Tarlev and Brian Schabelsky and Jeff Schmeier, they're all single file, trying to get through it, see if they can pick up any speed, any positions on each other. Nathan finishes 2nd. Lidke just crossed the line, finishes 3rd. Braun 4th. Here these guys come out of the last turn to finish their 30-lap race. They all get through safely. It looks like between them, it's going to be Stelian and Tarlev getting a top 5. Tarlev 5th. Schabelsky 6th. Schmeier 7th. Next up is going to be Collier, and he has a great deal of room between him and 9th place. We switch to him. Just trying to hold straight and get himself a top 8 out here. These guys, some of the guys in the back finishing the race because they were a lap down. Carroll's done. He's in 10th. Collier gets the 8th. And we're going to get the official results out to you soon. But Chris Hudson burning down Road America.
Yeah, and he had a really good race, Kevin. He looked promising all afternoon out here, and he managed to get it done out here. After a little bit of we'll have to go back and maybe take a look at what happened there with Joe Nathan to cause him to slow down and not be able to get through those last couple turns. But that leaves the opportunity and a little gap open for Chris Hudson, and he capitalized and managed to get a good win out here. I believe it was right about... It was this turn right here. Oh.
Yeah, and we were looking for mistakes. It could have been either of them. He drifts through that corner just trying to pick up any speed he can and gets both tires in the gravel there, and the rest was just, can Chris Hudson keep it straight, and he did.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Joe Nathan, that little error cost him the race and gives the win to Joe Hudson out here. As we're
Chris Hudson, sorry,
as we're still waiting on the official results to roll through. Seems to be taking a little longer with it being a road course. Stroop, what do you think of this race out here?
That was a fun race to watch. That was a really nice race to watch. It was lots of overtakes, lots of strategy. It was good win to Chris Hudson. That was amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely, and we appreciate you, Stroop, coming on board and helping us get through this race. We told Tim and we told the guys at CMS we are not right turn guys, so apologies if we weren't up to par on this stream, but we'll be back at Richmond next weekend. I think we got Richmond now.
That's expertise.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Stroop. We're gonna go over and do some interviews, but thanks to you and have a good one.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for having me.
Yep.
All right, y'all be good. Bye-bye.
See ya. That was Cameron Stroop coming on and helping us. Our senior road course consultant. But let's head over to the Trucks broadcast and get some interviews in, Luke.
Yeah, let's make our way on over there and get these guys in here. Alrighty. We wait for the guys to pour in here and get this thing rolling.
Man, I like that music. I don't know if you can hear it, Luke, but I say it every time.
Always can, Kevin. Always can.
That was a great race, though. I mean, I don't know what I expected with Road America because, like we said earlier, that was Ninth Gear's first road course broadcast. But I won't lie to you, Luke. I've never done more than just a D-class official race on iRacing in these road courses.
You know, Kevin, I think I'm in a very, very similar boat. I've done Road America on a couple other video games, non-car related, and it's a little easier on that, in my opinion. But I gave it about 1 or 2 laps on one of the Gen 4s.
Yeah, and it's a whole different beast, and these guys were able to hang on to it tonight. And I think, as far as the interviews go, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 as opposed to 3, 2, 1 because we don't have Drew in here quite yet. So, how about we get started with our race winner of the night, Chris Hudson?
Yeah, let's bring him on in here, Kevin.
Hey, Chris,
Hey,
guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Hey, gotcha.
Hey, man, that's a crazy race. We were just saying, not the biggest road course fans, but you've definitely changed our opinion a little bit. Super exciting race, start to finish. I mean, you probably know what we're going to talk about. The majority of that race you were watching, the bumper of Joe Nathan, and we talked about how it might just be, who makes a mistake first there, and you were able to capitalize off that and get the lead and hang on to it until the end. You want to talk us through how it felt out here at Road America?
Yeah, that first stint, he definitely was pulling away from me. I mean, he was faster than me for sure. So I was just trying to, do everything I could to keep him within at least sight. So when we came out. I think he had about 3 or 4 seconds on me, and I think he got really unfortunate with some lap traffic. I think, and that's what really brought him back into my grasp. And so then once he was right in front of me, I was able to get a little more pressure on him, and get benefit of the draft and stuff like that down the straight. So yeah, it was. I mean, by the end, the truck was all over the place. You're just trying to not slide off the track, and yeah, I think I maybe made one less mistake than Joe did, but he was so fast tonight. I feel lucky to finish in front of him, but it was a fun race for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we were looking back at some statistics from the past year, and you're not unfamiliar with these road courses. You got the win at the Glen a year ago, and then finished well at Coda as well. How do you stay consistent and stay strong out here? Do you have a past in road course racing?
Yeah, well, actually, I race road courses in real life, so that's actually my hobby. I race Spec E30 racing, so yeah, so I race on road courses, and that's kind of my jam. So I definitely like the road courses, but I think for this kind of stuff, it's I'm in a couple of the leagues, and just trying to stay fresh and get the laps in. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get you out of here, got one more question. I mean, these trucks don't compare very well to some of the other cars I'm sure you run on some of these road courses. Runs a lot different. I gotta ask, aside from the 3 you've ran with CMS, is there any other road courses you think the trucks would handle that well and you'd like to test out in the future?
Yeah, I know. Well, I know they race here. The Canadian Tire Motorsport Park is where these things are so fun. Just when you have those kind of long, slidey turns, these things are, rolling over on the sides and, have the back end hanging out like. That is the most fun to me. So any track like that, this track was amazing. It has, the kink, and Canada corner. Like there's just so many corners that are just kind of nice and sweeping, and it's just a lot of fun. So it gave me a course with lots of those kinds of corners, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should be happy because you won tonight and able to take home a checkered flag here at Road America and maintain your lead on the point standings. Congratulations, Chris. Anyone like to shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, shout out to Drew for his third place finish. Team Can-Am rocking it tonight, so happy with that. Yeah, big thanks to Tim and Brian for running the league. This is always just such a blast to run. So I know we're all having a lot of fun, and as always, thanks to you guys for the broadcast. And yeah, we'll see you at the next one.
Hey, we appreciate it, Chris. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Chris Hudson, your race winner out here getting it done at Road America, showing it's how it's done. Next, we're going to get in our second place finisher, Joe Nathan. Hey, Joe, guys in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, you hear me just fine?
Yep, I got you. I mean, you led the most laps out here. Unfortunate end, but I want to talk about the positives because you put on a show for the majority of that race. A couple mistakes towards the end. I'm not gonna say, who's to fault there, but we were talking earlier in the race about how the lap traffic's gonna fare out here with, a lot of these guys being oval racers and not really, knowing where to let someone overtake. Did that seem to be an issue? Or was it more of just I don't know, something else?
Yeah, that's a very good point. 100%. 100%. I was not sure there. To be perfectly honest, it's not a bad thing as well because I expect them to race me hard because they are oval guys, and I know being on the lead lap is really important. And the blue flag doesn't mean get out of the way. So I had no idea what to expect, to be honest, when I was coming up to lap these guys. And there were a couple of times where I see the gap. And I was like, I lost a little bit of time there. But it's not their fault. I don't blame them for it. It is a tricky track where, if they don't just pull over, you are going to lose some time, and that's racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I gotta ask you the same question because you and Chris together both put on a show. I mean, your guys about 28 seconds there at the end, above pace of everyone else. Do you also have a road racing background?
Yeah, I would say so. I definitely have every sim racing game under the sun. And I think iRacing is the only one that does ovals, pretty much. So I definitely do a lot of road course racing. I love Road America. It's a lot of fun. It took a lot of discipline because I mainly drive GT3s and all that good stuff. So the grip level much different. But I mean, I love the road courses too. So I felt at home for this one.
Yeah, and before we get you out of here, one last question. I gotta ask. Same question I asked Chris out here. Just thinking future, is there any other road courses you'd want to see out here with CMS in the coming seasons?
I mean, I completely agree with his suggestion, and I never know what that place is called. Mosport. I guess Canadian Tire just makes it simpler. I always love a good Mid Ohio as well. I think that one's
Hey,
fun. Love a good
we
Mid
are
Ohio.
we're going down to Mid Ohio a couple times this year. We're about 45 minutes away, so we
Nice.
we agree with that. We like Mid Ohio, and it's probably a track we're a little more familiar with than some of these.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
For sure. That one's a fun one.
But absolutely, I mean, you put on a show. It's going to help your points regardless of getting the win or not. Currently looking like you're sitting about fifth. I don't know how that is going to cycle through with the drops, but a second place is by no means a bad finish out here for you. You and Chris dominated this one, so congratulations, Joe. Anyone like to shout out before we get you out of here?
Yeah, all the usual iRacing. You guys, of course, for the broadcast. Tim for the host. Um, Obviously Chris for beating me. It's a shame because my main goal is to improve, the mental fortitude side of things. And man, if he wasn't breathing down my neck the last 6 or 7 laps, I don't make those mistakes. And of course, I'm seeing him in my mirror. This dude looked, um, I don't even know what the word, indestructible. He was making no mistakes. So shout out Chris. No, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Hey, we appreciate it, Joe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was Joe Nathan getting it done, getting a second place out here. Good points day for him, and definitely a good day for him as far as the pace goes, because him and Chris ran away from this one, Luke.
Yeah, they really did, Kevin. And, it was our first ever road course race, like we said, but I actually had a pretty good time, Kevin. It's definitely a change of pace from what we're used to, but it's very, very interesting to say the least, and a very different and unique style of racing that we're definitely not used to, but very, very entertaining from my standards, for my standards, apologies, but either way, Chris Hudson and Joe Nathan both had to be very, very pleased with that finish. They both had a very, very exciting race to watch there those last couple laps.
Yeah, no doubt. And, we've mentioned in the past that we are more than down to get into the whole road racing thing, but as it stands, we do not have the knowledge that some of these guys have. So another big thanks to Cameron Stroop for coming on and helping us. Big thanks to Tim for having us out here, even though he knew that, we might not be the best in the business as far as road racing goes. But thanks to the drivers for putting on a show. Thanks to Chris and Joe for giving us a good final show there at the last few laps. Thanks to all the viewers that showed out. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Alex, Jay, Mike, Tyler. Thanks to everyone that showed out in our chat. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the sub and follow button. I think coming up, we have Masters of the High Banks. I got a message mid-race that maybe not tomorrow, but definitely Tuesday and maybe again on Wednesday. So that's what's coming up. We'll get the schedule out if you want to see some super speedway racing. But coming back next week, Luke, we're going to be at Richmond here, and I think that's going to be a track that we can cover quite a lot bit better than we did tonight.
Yeah, Kevin, a few more left turns and well, a few less left turns is what I mean to say than what we saw out here tonight. So I think it'll be a little bit more our forte and getting back into things what we're used to. So, but other than that, man, I had a good time out here watching this one, and I'm excited to what's to come out here with CMS and the rest of the leagues out here this upcoming week.
Absolutely. And you want to close this out?
Yeah, absolutely. As you already said, big thanks to everybody for making this thing possible. This has been Ninth Gear Broadcasting, signing off on our first ever road